Hello and welcome. This is the week ahead, May 20th through 27th, and the Sagittarius full moon. Welcome to my channel. We're still under the influence of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And before we begin, if you just click down below to subscribe, like my channel, and if you want to get my newsletters or sign up for a reading, all of the information is going to be below in the box. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm Sara Bourland, for those of you that may not know me. I'm just going to go ahead and start with sharing the charts. So give me just a second to get that set up. All right, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and start with Monday, and I apologize, I have to go back a couple of days because for me, this was a week of being of service, which just filled my heart with joy. And I've had a couple of medical things come up, so I've had to kind of take care of that, but normally I'll be putting these out on Mondays. So Monday, welcome to Gemini season. Makes my heart super happy. The sun entered Gemini on Monday and kicked off this intellectual season. Now, the sun's going to travel through Gemini for the next month. And of course, right around the 19th or 20th of next month, we'll be getting into Cancer season. So a lot of shifts in energy this particular week. So it's likely that you'll be feeling the difference by the end of this week, maybe Saturday, Sunday for sure. So just kind of check, and I'll explain a little bit later. On Wednesday, Venus is conjunct Jupiter. So if we look right now, they're still in conjunction, and this is on Monday, but it gets a little bit tighter as we get closer. On Wednesday, she will start to pass. So here we go. This is Wednesday's chart. And you can see here that Venus is at 28 degrees. Jupiter is at 29, the anaretic degree. So just in a couple of, well, actually probably about the time I'm recording this right now, it's actually already moved into a tight conjunction and then moved past Gemini. So right now, Venus is really busy this week. It's also making a sextile to Neptune at 29 degrees and Jupiter as well. So we've got a lot of connection points, a lot of things that are getting ready to pass into Gemini. And of course, depending upon how fast they move is how fast they'll move in. But this week, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter all moving into Gemini. So big energy. So as Venus is finishing up being in Taurus, her home sign, she meets with Jupiter and collects some good luck and some positive information. Now, Taurus, the sign of comfort and feeling good on a physical level, so like enjoying food and again, everything that makes us feel really good about being in the body. It's time to kind of really wrap up that sort of loungy energy before Venus and Jupiter both move into Gemini, the sign of the mind. So look at this pile up in the chart. Oh my gosh, there's like so much energy in Taurus and in Aries, and then some big hitters in Pisces, both Neptune and Saturn. So we've got a real concentration of energy right now. There isn't a lot kind of hanging out there. And of course, the moon moves super quick, so it's always zipping around, and the south node is always going to be opposite the north node. And of course, we've got Pluto, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, in a trine with the sun. So we're going to wake up on Thursday morning at about 7 a.m. Pacific time to the full moon in Sagittarius. So, in fact, I'll go ahead and advance the chart. There we go. Here's the full moon chart. So you can see that at 6:53 a.m. Pacific time, we have the sun is opposite the moon. So the sun is in Gemini and the moon is in Sagittarius. So it's a Sagittarius full moon. And full moons are informative. It's very much a time of culmination, right? If you can imagine, it's like the moon is at its full. It's it's been increasing in light, and then after the culmination, it will decrease in light and then move its way towards the new moon. So it's a completion of what was conceived at the new moon, and I'm wondering if you know what exactly that might be. When I thought about this question for myself, I actually got a little bit of information a couple of weeks ago, kind of a big aha for me. And it's actually been taking me a couple of weeks to process that information, and it's kind of just been hanging out on the back burner, so to speak, how I call it, kind of just in that space where I'm not really paying attention to it, but it's there. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the information, but my guess is with all of this energy moving into Gemini, I'm going to be unpacking it even more. But it was kind of a significant new moon for me, that's for sure. So, as you look to Sagittarius, this new moon, we're talking about our belief systems, right? We're talking about the truth. So when we think about Sagittarius, who is the archer, right? He's aiming his arrow towards our highest ideals, right? Sagittarius wants to travel beyond himself, right? Or yourself and discover the big ideas. So it's about belief systems, it could be philosophy, it's higher education, it can even encompass religion. So these are the places in our lives that are the foundational pieces of what gives our life great meaning. So if you think about kind of your fixation on those kind of higher ideals, and again, these are the intrinsic things that really give us juice to waking up in the morning and what we believe in, right? So they're not the everyday things, that's Gemini territory, but these are kind of the overarching themes. This is the place in our lives where we want to step beyond the mundane. We want to step beyond the everyday kind of hamster wheel kind of stuff that we do and look at really why we all signed up to incarnate. So Sagittarius gives us a taste of where we want to touch spirit in all that matters, right? So this is the really like philosophical, interesting details. Now, Sagittarius is also known as the wanderer. And so we see this as a time of potentially making plans, making travel plans, because again, maybe we've kind of gotten a little bit too much in our daily routines, and it's time to stretch and grow and find some inspiration. So we want to move beyond the here and now, and seek things that kind of light ourselves on fire a little bit, not literally, but just like get us super inspired and juiced up. So there has to be something bigger, more expansive that the universe has to offer. Am I right? So that's part of what this may be about, is thinking kind of long term about what is it that you want to do and how is it that you're going to get really inspired. So now in this particular full moon, we notice that Pluto, which is right here, is at 2 degrees Aquarius and it's retrograde. So we know that right now it's retrograde for a few months. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, it's September, October, it's going to move direct again. But it's going to touch its toe back into Capricorn. So it's its last time, kind of just little gist. It's moving its way back right now. And right now, Pluto is trine both the sun and the moon, or sextile the moon. Sorry about that. And when I was studying with Dawn Bograti, she is was a wonderful astrologer who has since passed away. And she used to call this the boomerang. So it's this energy, two-pointed, really beautiful energy that hit planets that are in oppositions. And so it kind of has this effect on us. So, what was I saying? Pluto was applying to the sun on Tuesday. And of course, the sun moves a degree a day and the moon moves very quickly, 13 degrees in a day. And then just a few hours before the full moon, Pluto was applying to the moon or they were applying. So, and then they got to this perfect opposition. Now, in retrograde, Pluto is about reviewing, renegotiations, and so on. And Sag and Gemini are about data and our beliefs. So this is the big picture informed with the small details that are involved. So again, Pluto can be regenerative, but not without an overhaul first. So we can see some assertive energies that may be at odds with what you need or what you think versus what you feel. So the big message with this particular full moon is especially that we have, Jupiter and Venus at the anaretic degree. We have the full moon early in Gemini, is that you're getting a lot of information, but you need to check your gut and your emotions before you proceed, right? So check in with those pieces. Do you know what is the truth about what you feel? And can you express freely what you feel? You may have big truths coming to the surface this time, or you may begin to kind of understand and unpack what they really, really mean. So with Jupiter and Venus connected to this full moon, as they wrap up this time in Taurus, you want to make sure that you're taking the lessons of embodiment into the air sign of Gemini, because it's going to get really heady and really fast, really quick. So we're moving from body awareness into the intellect. We're moving from fixed to the modality of mutable. So what I mean by that is we're moving from stable, fixed, reliable, solid energy to one that is super speedy and changeable. So not only is this about recognizing that there's, like in Taurus, it might have felt like there was maybe one way to accomplish what you needed to do. When we get into Gemini, it's all about like the ideas. The ideas are going to be popping like crazy. And there's not just one way to accomplish this. You're going to be able to see many possibilities and many options that may be kind of coming at you from all sides. So what are you going to do as you think about and really getting a sense of all of this data coming in? You need to make sure that you stay grounded and that you have this stableness within you. I think that's the wisdom of Taurus, is that when you start feeling a little frenetic, go take just a couple of minutes, if that's all you have, to just close your eyes, go back into your body, take a few deep breaths, because it's when you take the breaths, that's the place that you notice the spaciousness. And don't let this frenetic Gemini energy get the best of you, because at times it can feel like you're not doing things fast enough, and it's just psh, 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 psh. I mean, that's super Gemini energy, because Mercury is very fast. So speaking of which, let me slow down a little bit. When the sun sign shines in Gemini, this is the sign of communication, data, and information that leads us to greater and more knowledge. But what are we going to do with this knowledge? Like, what purpose does it serve? And as always, where's the truth? That's the Sagittarius piece. Where's the truth? So as you are moving through your day, if you are watching the news, reading the newspaper, or whatever sources online that you use, or paper, books, and so on, check your sources and then also check your gut, right? That's the full moon lesson is like, don't forget to bring the emotions into this because they're also highly intuitive and can inform us in ways that the intellect sometimes can fall short. So, AI is likely as everything moves into Gemini, especially when we have Jupiter in Gemini. This, I can imagine, as if AI isn't already fast enough for us, that it's going to be picking up the pace. And as I was thinking about this, it's really interesting because, again, what are we supposed to do with all of this information and how will it change us? We have Pluto in the mix. Pluto is the transformer. Gemini's the data and the information, the raw stuff. And then Sagittarius is our big beliefs to guide us. So we really have to bring all of these things into awareness as we start marching forward. Is we can sometimes with Gemini get trapped in, I always think of it as like it's a bag of potato chips. I have a lot of Gemini energy. So it's like, it's the seeking of knowledge that is really satisfying. And so it's almost like potato chips where you just keep eating and eating and you keep consuming data and information. But how much is too much? And when do you feel like you can say, I've got enough. I need to do something with this. So the trap with Gemini is it's about acquisition. But at some point you just have to say, take a leap of faith and do something with it. So it's a big week. It's a big week. We have Sun and Venus moving into Gemini, and then by Friday, Jupiter follows, moving into Gemini. My messages this week, enjoy that full moon. Don't forget on, either Wednesday night or Thursday. Be sure to take some time, put your crystals out. If you're into charging water with the light of the full moon, go for that. It's a great time to be doing some manifesting. We've got both Venus and Jupiter in a conjunction with the sun. It's a great time to do some manifesting rituals. This is a really powerful time. And if nothing else, go bask in the light of that gorgeous full moon or the gorgeous sunshine for that matter, and delight in just being in a physical body. It is an incredibly magical time to be alive. And I thank you for watching. Until next time, if you like the video, click like, please subscribe. I'm growing my channel and I appreciate you hanging with me. Thanks so much. Until next time. Bye.